the heart of Russia, where the biting cold lashes the faces of men and crimes hide behind cold concrete walls, there was a man named Alexander, his features mysterious, with no clear past, and no one spoke of his upbringing. But everyone knew him by only one name, Azrael of the Mafia. It was a time when the Russian Mafia ruled everything. The economy, politics, the police, even the military. The most feared assassin in the country was Victor, a ruthless man who never missed his target. Anyone who made his hit list was doomed. On a bleak winter day, Alexander appeared out of nowhere. He had no criminal record and no one knew him. He approached Victor, who never expected anyone to dare touch him, and fired a single bullet to his head, killing him in broad daylight, in front of everyone. That moment was a turning point in Russia's criminal world. The mafias whispered, "Who is this? How did he kill Victor?" Alexander's name started circulating quietly in back rooms of bars and secret gang meetings. Everyone felt a new threat had been born. 6 months after Victor's assassination, Alexander rapidly climbed the mafia ranks. One night, he attacked Valery Del Gastic, the leader of a huge gang known for brutality and military alliances. Valery was enjoying a night at a luxury nightclub surrounded by elite bodyguards, mostly former soldiers and intelligence agents. Alexander entered the club like an ordinary visitor, but at the right moment, he drew his guns and started firing without hesitation. His shots were not random but precise like a machine. He shot Valery in the head first, then took down the guards one by one. Dozens fell, and he left the club leaving behind a massacre. A year and a half later, Alexander killed the new leader appointed after Valery. The gang decided to disband. One member said, "Every time we appoint a leader, Alexander kills him. We can't continue like this." But the story was just beginning. Alexander's gang needed money, so he started extorting wealthy crime bosses. One was Autari, a dangerous man feared even by Kremlin officials. When Autari heard Alexander wanted to extort him, he laughed. "Alexander? He's just a kid playing with fire." But Alexander wasn't joking. He ignored his men's warnings. "Autari is strong, backed by the state. Don't get near him." He replied simply, "Anyone who walks on earth can be killed." Days later, he stormed Autari's headquarters, shot him in front of his guards, then left as if nothing happened. From that day on, Mafia men gave him a new title, Azrael of the Mafia. Alexander didn't need an army. Just seeing the face of his target was enough. He would approach death itself. No matter the guards, weapons, or cameras, he planned little and executed with unmatched coldness and calm. In one difficult mission, his target was a gang leader who changed locations daily and used a convoy of cars. Alexander watched patiently, found the weak spot, and on a rainy day fired a sniper bullet from afar that hit the leader's head precisely. Then his team eliminated all guards before anyone could respond. In Moscow alone, Alexander killed 9 mafia bosses, and in just 4 years, more than 43 important crime figures disappeared, all killed by his unique method. No one dared mention his name in front of leaders for fear of bad luck. At that time, Russian authorities began to realize his real danger. During a massive security chase, they spotted him in Moscow streets. He drove recklessly, firing a heavy machine gun with one hand, killing 7 police officers. But he was shot in the kidney and captured, taken to a military hospital. He spent 6 months there. Despite interrogation attempts, he refused to speak. During treatment, he learned Greek and planned a great escape. With his men's help, he was smuggled out of the hospital using ropes and climbing gear, reached the border, then fled to the Greek capital, Athens. Rumors spread in Russia that he was dead, and many believed it, while he was preparing for a whole new phase. In Athens, he underwent plastic surgery to change his appearance, then founded a new mafia with 15 of the fiercest men he personally selected. He formed alliances with mafias from Italy, Russia, and Greece, and started smuggling huge quantities of weapons, dominating the Balkan arms trade. He lived luxuriously, a magnificent palace, a fleet of cars, women from all nationalities, even convincing a Russian beauty queen to live with him. He spoke several languages and appeared as a respectable businessman, but in reality, he was Europe's most wanted criminal. Years passed, and he became one of Europe's most powerful mafia leaders. In Athens, after settling and founding his new mafia, Alexander fell in love for the first time since his start. Her name was Elena, a Russian-Greek girl working in a pharmacy near one of his headquarters. She didn't care about his luxury cars or reputation. She treated Alexander like a human being, which touched his heart. He started visiting her in disguise, without guards or weapons. He wrote her simple Russian poems and said, "When I'm with you, I forget I'm a killer." Inside, a dream grew, to leave everything and start a new life with her. He even told his closest deputy, Nikita, "I'm thinking of selling everything and emigrating with her, just the two of us. This might be my time." But Nikita disliked the change. He thought Elena made Alexander weak and secretly contacted remnants of the old Russian Mafia. A secret deal was made. Nikita would betray Alexander in exchange for becoming the new mafia boss. On the night of January 31, 1997, Alexander planned to assassinate an Italian mafia leader but never showed up at the meeting place. Hours later, his men found him dead in a small apartment on Athens' outskirts, a single bullet in his heart. Strangely, the apartment was rented under Elena's name, and she disappeared that night. No one knows whether Elena betrayed him or if Nikita used her name to trap him. But in a small notebook found later, Alexander wrote, "People don't die from bullets, but from betrayal. I loved you as my last chance to be human, and I paid the price." He was buried in a small Greek cemetery without a name. Days later, a note in unknown handwriting appeared on his grave. "Here lies a man who terrified his enemies and loved with his heart." Nikita, who took over Alexander's mafia, disappeared 2 years later, rumored to be killed the same way by an unknown hand. Alexander Azrael's story wasn't just that of a killer, it was a dark legend about a man who loved his homeland, served it, then was wronged, turning into a monster no one could stop. He was buried in a small Greek cemetery without a name. Days later, a note in unknown handwriting appeared on his grave. "Here lies a man who terrified his enemies and loved with his heart." Nikita, who took over Alexander's mafia, disappeared 2 years later, rumored to be killed the same way by an unknown hand. Alexander Azrael's story wasn't just that of a killer, it was a dark legend about a man who loved his homeland, served it, then was wronged, turning into a monster no one could stop.